Either you are in a cartel or in shit. So briefly describe the situation by woman who has been member of the Sinaloa cartel. Why in Mexico there are more and more criminal women who cruelty scares even men. In Mexico, women were increasingly entering criminal groups as full-fledged participants. If earlier they were interested in bandits only as sexual objects or guardians of the hearth, when the next boss was sent to prison, now their involvement in crimes is much wider. The drug war, begun by the government of Mexico and the U.S. intelligence services, continues without any serious positive results. Marijuana, cocaine, and recently synthetic fentanyl continue to flow across the border of the United States and diverge around the world. The poverty of the countries of Central America allows cartels to replenish the ranks of the fighters without much difficulty. A criminal craft is able to give a young man much more earnings than honest work. Girls become cabrons, that literally from Spanish means bastard. It is also used in the meaning of the criminal, member of the gang, for two main reasons. The first is the same as the young men is earnings. The second is the opportunity to protect yourself from harassment and humiliation and increase the status in society. And the growing role of women in the lower echelons of organized crime does not promise anything good to end in Mexico the drug addiction, which, since its announcement by the then-President Felipe Calderón, took about 200,000 lives in 2006 and brought another 100,000 people who were missing, which no doubt are also dead. Cartelli fight not only with the government, but also among themselves. Having become a cabrona, the girl acquires the status of a full-fledged member of the criminal community and his protection. In cartels, women are appreciated for the diligence and respect of the hierarchy. On those who have children, it is easier to press in case of disobedience. Besides, the police sometimes do not pay attention to a woman walking along the street, although she can be more dangerous than a dozen street robbers. It was previously believed that women in cartels perform humanitarian functions, rather. They establish new business ties and carry out instructions that are not related to violence. However, it seems that now it is not at all. Journalists found that the cabrons are not so harmless. In this new reality, women occupy any positions in cartels. They work as killers, wash money. Sometimes they are coordinators of the street network of drug sellers and so on. These women sometimes make the most dirty and terrible work. For example, it is they who often get rid of the remains of the victims of the cartel. This is something completely new. It's not easy to deal with someone, but cut it into pieces? This has a huge impact on their psyche. This is done by very young girls. It is very difficult to return them to society later. The new generation of criminals is not only more numerous, but even more cruelly compared to those women who participated in cartels earlier, in the 90s and 2000s of years. And the situation only worsens. Recently, one of the key members of the cartel Sinaloa was extracted in the United States. Her nickname, La Gabi, and she was considered one of the most valuable accomplices of the cartel, since she knew how to organize supplies bypassing customs and left no traces. Especially La Gabi became famous for her love for the things of the Gucci brand. And this is also one of the main reasons why women go to cartels along with men. They want not to think about money, wear beautiful things, and enjoy authority among others. In Central America, and not only there, it is almost impossible to achieve this with honest work for most people. And becoming part of a cartel, a young man or a girl immediately fly up the social staircase. Let sometimes, and very shortly. In the meantime, governments and other organizations are looking for ways to prevent the flow of recruits. Women in criminal communities, they are increasingly joining the cartel of the Sinaloa. the Cartel New Generation, Jalisco, and Cartel del Sur.